Good morning, guys. An afternoon for Jay. I wanted to start off and make a couple of these videos because obviously we've seen Aaron make a few videos. Xander has been making videos for the call center. And I thought it would be a really good time with all of us coming in at different times of the day, different schedules, and it being really busy, that with a lot of information that we need to go over, it would be best to just try to do a video. That way you also have the information saved. As well as a paper agenda and any additional documents emailed out to you. So we're going to try this out for today, and I would like some feedback afterwards if you guys think this is helpful to go over some of the information with you. So for today's agenda, we're going to go over the call center and CDC update first. You guys should have received an email titled Update to Mask Policy. A couple things that are changing here. So they are changing the city guidelines for the mask mandate. First thing that we changed is the call center, effective yesterday, will no longer be asking the question, the healthy home question, as well as we are going to be having the mask step added to our greet step. For those of you who are not familiar, the greet step is part of the 6 steps of service system. So we are adding the with the, is my truck parked okay, we're adding, would you like for me to wear a mask, and adding that in front, and making sure the homeowner feels comfortable. If we find out that people are just not asking customers or people are not wearing masks, then it will go back to just a full mask mandate. But at the end of the day, it is the homeowner's choice. It is their home that we're walking into. So if they want us to wear a mask, then we absolutely need to respect that decision. We will still be doing the, for the vaccine requests, we have, those skills still on the smart dispatch for the service team. And we will keep our list and have that as needed. Next thing I wanted to go over is the material audit. So this is something that we have been checking before in the past. We've gone over this before in the past. People that have been with us for a while will definitely remember. We are going back to really focusing on this. They did an audit, I believe it was of last month, and there was about $25,000 in materials that were not billed to any customer. So basically, to give an example, a lot of things in our SKUs in our price book will have the price for the labor, but it will say in bold, materials not included, and many technicians are not actually putting materials on there. Now, material auditing is extremely important for replenishment and for general department health. We all know that, not charging or billing for $25,000 worth of material that we use is not a healthy manner and not a healthy department. So what can we do? We go back to making sure we are checking the material audit on debrief. The auditing process you will be able to see in 2 places. For anybody that is not aware, I'm just going to pick a job here real quick from Amar. No, my man Amar does the material audits. 2 places you can see it here. Amar added audit complete. That is the last step of the material audit, but below you can see all of the materials being added. The other portion is in the invoice. If you click here, you see materials, and then you'll see them all listed here. So again, this is something that we can control because they add the materials after the fact, and it'll help us catch people more quickly that are not charging properly for materials in our invoices. Next thing, real quick, I just wanted to go over forms in ServiceTitan. I did update this yesterday. I sent you guys a quick email to show you, just to make it a little bit more organized. I just renamed the forms so you can see them here, so they are all in one place. As you can see, I did this with the sales forms as well to make sure that those were all in one place. And then eventually my goal is to create one debrief form. If you can see here, this is something I've been working on for a while. It still is going to take some time. It's not done yet. But I just wanted to ask that we still try to keep in the habit of filling out a form because eventually the goal is to just have one debrief form for every single job. It's easier for tracking purposes. We can pull up the forms. We can associate them with a tag. So I would just like to ask that everybody still keeps in the habit of filling out those forms. And the final thing I wanted to go over is the LTO process for the service department. This is something that we've been struggling with for a little bit. So I was working with the service managers for a few weeks, and this is where we've gotten to. So this is the first layer of the process we're going to roll out. They should have already rolled it out to the service techs, I believe, the end of last week. But basically, we're trying to solve the main problem that we have, which was the technician calling in and stating that they don't know if the LTO should go to sales or service. If you see in scenario 3, that's the exact case here. If a technician calls in and we don't know if it's a service call or a bigger project, the technician is to step out of his truck and call their manager. They are not to call dispatch. They are not to ask dispatch if this needs to go to sales or service. They are to call their manager. If their manager is not around, they need to call the QC. Joe, our virtual QC, is available. He's very intelligent and he's able to help them as well. The manager of the QC will then make a decision if it needs to stay in the service department or if it is truly a sales job. The other scenarios, I am going to send this out, so I'm not going to read this verbatim. But obviously, scenario 1 is we know it should be a sales call because it fits some of these categories here. They call into dispatch, turn it over to sales, our normal process. Scenario 2 is if they do not, they know it's not a sales call, but it is above their skill level. One of 2 options here. They can bid it out with their manager and then sell it, and then they can schedule it for themselves and another technician, so that way they're able to learn, or they can fully LTO it to another service technician, someone that's a higher skill level. So these are the 3 scenarios that I'll send out so you guys can read through them. What do we do? What we need to do is scenario 1, if someone is calling in and stating that they don't know if it's a sales or service LTO, then we need to kindly advise them to call their manager or quality control for assistance. If absolutely nobody is available, reach out to me or Olivia, and we can try to contact somebody or make a best judgment call. Scenario 2, which is very, very, very important, the technician LTO becomes very confusing. They don't follow the process. It ends up going to the wrong department or creates mass confusion. Anything that we need to do, anything that's not following the process basically needs to be emailed to myself and the manager of that department. Just a quick copy the job, a couple sentences of just not following the process because, as this is new, we really want to know the people that are not following the process so we can make sure that we're getting people on this process with us. And you guys are doing the work every single day, so you guys are going to know way more than me. So just a quick recap, we went over the call center and the CDC update, the material auditing, forms in ServiceTitan, and the general LTO process for service. So I wanted to try and keep this quick and see, if this is helpful. So again, I can really use your guys' feedback. I'm not a podcast host or a YouTuber or anything of that matter. I had to figure out how to even make a YouTube video. So I would like some feedback to see if this was helpful, and I'll be sending out the information after this video. Thank you guys, and have a great Tuesday.